Hello, dear friends. Your weekly horoscope is here after a little break. So, what is happening during the upcoming week? First of all, we will have Mercury Retrograde, and Mercury will also change signs. So, as a general theme, kind of like a background energy, we need to be more careful when it comes to information, communication, all kinds of plans, everything that requires precision or interaction with other people or some kind of punctuality. Those things can be and sometimes are more problematic when Mercury is retrograde. We know that. So, of course, life goes on. So, don't be too scared and don't put everything on hold. Sometimes we just need to do stuff, even though Mercury is retrograde. So, do the stuff, just be careful and make sure to check things twice or to clarify if something is not very clear for you. And of course, if possible, try to avoid important decisions, starting something brand new, or making big purchases, or signing some really important contracts. Of course, it will not make everything problematic. Mercury doesn't make everything problematic, but sometimes things may not be what we are expecting. The results might be different, or the arrangements can change over time. So be prepared that if you commit to something or sign up, like a contract, for example, or a deal, it may not be something long lasting, which sometimes it's totally fine. And also things may change in some time. So that's about Mercury, which will be retrograde during the whole week. But on Friday, Mercury also is going back to Virgo. So overall, this means that we need to be even more careful with work, with our responsibilities. Maybe we need to address some kind of health issues or things that need to be organized. And it is a great time actually to go through something and, for example, readjust it. It could be a plan, it could be something you've been working on, or just go through your previous work and check for some mistakes, or if you want to add something, or if you want to kind of like change things in certain way, whatever this is about work or other stuff as well. So for readjustment, for checking if you want to change something, for finding a different perspective, or for example, if we talk about studying and learning process, it's a great time for a recap. So to go back and revisit the things that you already know, but maybe you need to remind yourself about them, or maybe you will be able to now go deeper and have a different understanding. Because here is also an important thing when Mercury is retrograde. The external role of Mercury can be more problematic. The external role is the communication and the interaction with the outside world. Yes, that sometimes can be more difficult, but internally, Mercury retrograde can work more productively. And it's about ideas, it's about writing, it's about the things that you are doing on your own and that you initiate, that kind of like come from within you, not from the outside world. So, for again, exploring ideas or trying to find a new perspective or a different solution, this is actually a fantastic time. And especially after Friday, when Mercury is moving to Virgo, the sign which is ruled by Mercury, we can really shift our focus when it comes to work, productivity, health, service to other people, and to find some new solutions. Overall, when Mercury is retrograde in Virgo, this may affect more the working process, as well as also people who have their sun or rising sign in Virgo, or the other mutable signs as well, Sagittarius, Pisces, and Gemini. They may need to be more mindful during the last few days of Mercury retrograde. Another big thing for this week is the ingression of the sun in Libra. So we are having the equinox, and this is always an important shift. It kind of like, first of all, literally changes the seasons, but also the energy is a little bit restarting because we are moving to a new cardinal sign, the sign of Libra. So it is a great time to shift your focus and maybe to prepare to go back to work or focus on something that you would like to get started with and to improve, and something that also you would like to initiate on your own. The cardinal energy is also the energy of willpower. And yes, Libra is not generally a sign that we associate with willpower, but it's the ability to connect to other people, to find the balance also, to find the harmony. So for the next 1 month, we may focus on all of those things. We may focus on relationships, on interactions with other people, and overall on things that would bring you joy, that would bring you happiness and also fulfillment. Now, let's take a look at each of the days during the upcoming week. We are starting with Monday, of course, and Mercury retrograde will have 2 challenging aspects on Monday. First, there will be square and a half with Saturn, and then also with Uranus. So it's a little bit contradictory because Saturn and Uranus want completely different things. From one side, we need to slow down, be pragmatic, be rational, be concentrated, be patient. That's very much Saturn. On the other side, Uranus wants dynamic, change, innovation, trying something new, maybe even risking something. So we might be somewhere in between. And we will need to find a balance. So I don't think that we should focus on only one of those. It's really about finding the balance. Maybe in some areas we need to be patient, we need to pause, we need to look from a more pragmatic perspective. And in another area, maybe it's time to change something and try something new and allow yourself to experiment. So that's where we will be on Monday, in between those 2 polarities. The moon is in Cancer, which means that you need to take care of your self and your emotional well-being, and maybe take a rest or don't push yourself too much, and perhaps spend some time with your family. On Tuesday, the energy is very different. So Venus will be the main player on Tuesday. Venus is having a trine with Uranus and a quincunx with Saturn. So again, both Saturn and Uranus energy. But this time it will affect more the emotional area, the relationships, our maybe even romantic relationships. And Venus with Uranus having a trine would bring more surprises, desire for new experiences, for maybe experimenting, for more freedom, for some positive surprises. In terms of creativity, this is also a fantastic aspect. And even when it comes to financial matters, this is a time maybe to try something new, or to buy yourself something that you would really enjoy, or just to focus on the things that would bring you more variety and excitement. On the other side, Venus in a quincunx with Saturn means that you still need to keep some kind of control over your emotions. So don't let them kind of like be all over the place. Don't storm out. Don't exaggerate. Try to be grounded. Try to also be very wise when it comes to personal decisions. It could be about, again, relationships or dating or even money decisions. So I love those combinations when we have contradictions, because those are also the most creative times. If we find a way to use the different energies in a constructive way. And on Tuesday also, the moon is in Cancer until 5 p.m. So we may focus more on personal matters or overall emotionally. We need to be more careful how we treat other people. Overall, people can be more sensitive. And after 5 p.m., the moon will be in Leo, which will bring more dynamic, more excitement, and could be a great time for having fun or organizing a dinner or something like that. On Wednesday, we have a very, I would say, socially focused day, because we have a quintile between Mars and Jupiter. And this is a great aspect for doing something that you are inspired to do, being more productive, feeling like you have more energy, that you want to pursue your goals, but perhaps also try to change something or improve something. So the motivation can be really high, the ambition can be higher, the desire for competition as well, and also to prove yourself, to show that you can do it, that you can be good at what you are planning to do, and yeah, to really prove yourself. The other aspect, however, is a minor challenging aspect between Jupiter and Saturn, but again, it's bringing the focus to the social area, work, business, goals, and you may need to change something, to adjust something, to fix something, or perhaps to recognize that you need more patience when it comes to achieving some bigger long-term goals, and that's okay. So Wednesday is really a great time to focus on work, achievements, and like bigger stuff. The moon will be in Leo, which also supports self-expression and passion and commitment. On Thursday, the sun will move to Libra, so we have the equinox. And as I said, this will change overall the dynamic. We are switching to a cardinal energy, so the motivation to do something can be higher, but also the importance of other people will be higher. So pay attention to your relationships or interactions with other people, or maybe you can collaborate with someone, or why not, for example, go on a date, or focus again, as I said, on the things that you really love. And the moon is in Leo also on Thursday, so passion, having fun, expressing yourself, allowing yourself to be more creative. Those are also some important points. On Friday, Mercury retrograde is going back to Virgo. And right before this happens, Mercury will also be in conjunction with the Sun. So the mind can be very, very active. It's a great time for self-analysis, for brainstorming of some kind of ideas, especially when it comes to something that you have done before or you would like to improve, or maybe you had an idea but you didn't really follow through, but now you can do it. So the mind can be very, very active, and you really need to focus on yourself, like your ideas, your desires, and to really find the solution inside yourself. So it can be very productive and beneficial, but keep in mind that sometimes also the mind can be overwhelmed. So especially if generally you have the, as we say, the monkey mind, or you tend to overthink or to analyze too much things, it could be a little bit overwhelming for your mind. So perhaps some kind of meditation or a practice that would just relax your mind can also be a great idea. And the moon is also in Virgo. That's very interesting. And it will help us to be more connected to the earth, to some practical matters we need to address, maybe to take care of things that are important and really require patience and punctuality and precision. Then on Saturday, we have an opposition between Venus and Neptune. So emotions can be very bright, we can be very dreamy, we can fantasize a lot, we can visualize things, we may have creative ideas. The question here is how realistic we are, and also how, this is even more important, how willing we are to put our visions or dreams into reality. Because the truth, my friends, is that when we have challenging aspects triggering Neptune, we can have amazing visions and ideas, but we might be unwilling to do the effort to manifest them. Or sometimes you may even call this laziness or lack of motivation, or just a desire to, keep this as a possibility in your mind, but not spoil it when you turn it into a reality. This is one of the major Neptune conflicts in general. So be mindful about this. You can be more creative, more empathetic, more sensitive. In relationships, you might be able to feel your partner better. But there's also the other side of the story, that you may have some unrealistic expectations or illusions, or you may realize that something is just not as you are imagining it. That's Neptune. Sometimes we need to be open for this as well. The moon will be in Virgo, and hopefully this will help us to be a little bit more grounded and in touch with reality, and also connected to the mind as much as possible as well. And on Sunday, again, Venus will be the active planet, Venus with Saturn. They will have a creative aspect, which from one side can help us to be more logical, but at the same time to make some changes. That's what the creative aspects can bring. So from a practical perspective, you may find a solution, or you may see what would be better for you when it comes to your personal life, financial matters, your desires. So it can be a pretty interesting day. And the moon is in Virgo until 1 p.m. So it's a better time to focus on concrete things, maybe getting some work done. And after 1 p.m., the moon is in Libra. So relationships will be even more important, and finding the balance, and interacting with other people, listening to other people, especially the closest ones. So interesting week ahead of us. Mercury and Venus are very active, so we can expect changes in relationships, but also ideas, plans, work, and of course the equinox. So moving on to another season, and also time to maybe focus or think about what would you like to do or achieve until the end of the year. Yes, it's not such a long time, like 3 months, but 3 months is also a time worth your attention. So you can make such a kind of, what's that? Maybe it's not short term, but yeah, like middle term planning or goal setting, and pursue your desires and goals. So thank you very much for joining me. Let me know in the comments how you feel during Mercury retrograde, and if you have any questions. I will see you next week.